I was performing in New York one night, and it was Goody Mob, Big, and Fat Joe. And I remember that night when Fat Joe performed, Fat Joe was new to New York. A Puerto Rican rapping was new to New York at that time. And we got to see how he wasn't all the way accepted. We got to see how the Wu-Tang wasn't all the way accepted.
Right.
And so, what we started to do is say, you know what, we're gonna ignore what they talking about, and we just gonna go all the way, we just gonna go for it. That's when you start seeing Gipp doing the outfits. You know what I mean? Because I was like, okay, if you gonna say you don't understand us, then I'm gonna wear some shit so wild that you gonna remember us. So it was a strategy, but it worked. It worked. And then it was like when we would do the shows and then we would cut the music off and then CeeLo would hit you with the poem live. Like it was something that nobody was doing back then, man. So, I just, one thing I look at it now, New York had everything, man. Everybody was making the labels. They was, you had Rough Riders, you had The Roc, you had, so many, interpretations of what New York was. But the reason why I think New York don't have the power that it has because everybody sold out. Everybody wanted the check. So everybody sold out, everybody got the check. But now you don't have anything. Now New York sound like Atlanta.
Yeah, that's true.
You can go to New York now and it sound like Atlanta radio. So, one thing I would tell anybody is, man, give people a fair chance or them same people might take over your crib one day.
I think it's happened.
And they not giving the ball back. The
Right.
South, man, can't beat the South no more because as long as we got the most strip clubs, it's a place an artist can go and take their music and get an instant reaction. And if you get an instant reaction, you know if that record big or not. You know what I mean? And shout out to Migos, man. 1 billion streams in 20 days, man. Now Atlanta, to me, has reached this trifecta because now you have stars on the south side, stars on the west side, stars on the east side, and now we got stars on the north side. Hey, man, I don't know. These people gonna have to get back together to beat them boys down south, man. Because we really working together, and that's another thing, man. We, in the South, man, our thing is everybody eat. I think the biggest thing that I think that the East and the West does that I think that the South don't do, we don't elevate nobody to the status of being nobody's bigger than them. Like, we don't do that. Everybody's great. When you just make one man the God or one man he's the greatest, then hey man, the culture and the streets and everything up under it gets suffocated and it dies. What we've done from day one, we've been pulling more and more of us in the game. First time you ever seen T.I., he was on the bus with Goody Mob in D.C. You know what I mean? So for us, we've always pulled back. We've always said, yo, Shawty, he the king, he the one. He can rap, he understand hip hop. And then the same way we could turn around and say, hey man, what Drum has done, what Migos has done, what 21 Savage has done, like look at what they doing. It's like 21 Savage is on one of the biggest pop records of this year, like the Post Malone record. It's like to be able to see a ninth ward kid come and be on a pop record that I know is pop radio, that's big, man. That's big. And I think as long as we stay us, and not try and be nobody else, we'll stay at the forefront of hip hop.
Yeah, and I think too that sonically, because of all the great producers and the sounds that have constantly evolved from Atlanta in particular, that has like that ripple effect to where people from outside the A want to work with people from the A, which then spreads it even further.
True that, because like right now to say who, like Atlanta is too many to name. It's like Mike Will, man, what he's did with Ray Sherman is like, yo, man, you can't really beat that. Metro has become one of the biggest. My little nephew, Southside, he's one of the biggest, man. We got to say Zay Tobin, what Gucci's been able to do. We also got to always tip our hat to Shawty Red because he helped start that whole trap music sound. So with me, I'm just glad that Atlanta keeps rotating. It's like Rich the Kid, Lil Schoolie. It's like I love Pee Wee the Long Way. I love what he doing. You know, my thing is just I want them to keep pushing. As long as we keep pushing and don't get caught up in the things and the trinkets that come along with the business. Fame is a motherfucker, but you know, I tell all my young ones, man, like, put your money up, man. Stop giving your money to all these folk about that jury, man, because that jury, all you gotta do is, you know, we did it one day. Bought a necklace for $68,000, right? We tried to take it back in an hour. Them folks said, man, we can't give you your money back, but we can help you. You can find something in the store that we can replace it with. That should tell you right there that it's not worth what you spent for it. So I say this, bro, like, put more money up than you spend. Don't buy a lot of cars because you're going to be on tour a lot for the first few years of your career. You know, put your money up, make sure you have something, or do something, you know. People don't get
property.
Yeah, buy property. And then let's look at it like this. I mean, Rick Ross, man, the whole Wingstop thing, again, another, you know, brother from the South that has taken his platform and changed it into something else. That's what we got to do because, you know, I tell kids all the time, like, the time that you're on top is shorter than the time it took you to get there. You know, and, you know, being number one and being at the top of the game, it's like a blur. You're going to wake up one morning, you're going to be past that time. So just understand that put more of your money up than giving it away. Because, you know, I don't know how many of y'all going to make it to see 20 years, 25 years in this game. You know, it's not set up for us to make it this long. But if you make sure you have a great show and you make sure that the albums that you put out is something that you feel like is going to be something you could play 20 years from now, then hey, man, put your best into it. And we got to shout out Future. I got to shout out Future since that's Dungeon Family. I got to shout out that, you know. And I give so much praise to the youngins because I just see how they just taking this shit and they turn it into a real business.
Right.
You know, that's all. I just love that. That's why I love Atlanta so much because it's like we're not gonna let one person rule. Somebody else gonna try and knock him down next week.
Right.
But it's all friendly competition, and as long as everybody eating, man, I think we'll have the ball secured.
And then you also have a line that you're working on.
Yeah.
So what's that about?
Okay, the line that I'm working on, I'm gonna be rolling out about 4 months. I'm doing my own cannabis line, you know, in conjunction with some friends of mine, and I think it's gonna be one of the biggest lines that come out in the next, and for the rest of this year. I don't think nobody's gonna be bigger than me, and I gotta say that because I mean, like, nobody's line has rolled out and had 9 states behind it. So with that being said, you know, I'm just here to just find my new place in hip hop and not have to make records so much because, you know, Goody Mob's still touring during the summer. We're talking about re-releasing Still Standing through Columbia and they're doing like a whole Still Standing tour. And, you know, and for those that don't know, all our albums are platinum. I know a lot of people think that just Outkast went platinum, but all of our albums are platinum, you know, so I just want to let people know that it's great to see people like Kendrick, J. Cole right now even surviving in a game that's just built for just club music, you know what I mean? So as long as we still got a few out here doing it the old school way, which is hip hop, I'm cool, man, because it keeps everything fresh and everybody not doing the same thing.
Right. Well, there it is, y'all. Big Gipp.
Yeah.
Appreciate it, man. As always, I'm Soren Baker, Unique Access, Big Gipp. Thanks for coming through, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, yes. Already.
In the beginning, hip-hop was ruled by the East Coast. Then the West Coast rose to prominence, thanks to gangster rap.
Straight out of Compton, crazy motherfucker named Ice Cube.
Hip-hop changed the world. Gangster rap changed the narrative.
I'm representing for the gangsters all across the world.
And then changed the world again.
Cause I'll come and take your life away.
The History of Gangster Rap features unheard stories, unseen photos and documents, all with exclusive interviews from the founders and players who shaped gangster rap.
I think a real gangster rapper has to scare you a little bit.
The History of Gangster Rap, written by veteran rap journalist Soren Baker. In stores now.
Yo, what up? This is DJ Quick. Be sure to pick up my homeboy Soren Baker's book, The History of Gangster Rap, if you really want to know what we do.